How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 8th of July 2022. So before I get into the analysis today, I'm just going to show you two charts, the current chart and then a chart that I posted in a thumbnail in a video that I did recently, just to once again validate the methodology, validate the things that I'm talking about, to kind of give you guys the confidence, that you're listening to somebody who does know what he's talking about and does have a lot of experience in the marketplace. That's not to say that just because I say something's going to happen, it's going to happen. But more importantly, the lead up to it, you'll notice that when I start to do a study, that's when I have confidence, in the things that I'm about to see in the market, the things that could potentially be unfolding and occurring in the marketplace, and then I try I've tried really, really hard to kind of put certain things in place to give you guys that kind of educational run up to what could potentially be unfolding. And then when it does, you'll be able to kind of look back and say, okay, now I get why that happened. So this is the chart that I posted, and you can see obviously that I made this, this reference to the upside. Now, obviously within that video, I was talking about level 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a bunch of scenarios that could have unfolded. But obviously, I chose to use this as the thumbnail, because this was what I was expecting to see. Now, going forward, I'm going to throw a few curveballs in because people are going to be watching now and waiting for me to basically, and I'm serious, this actually happens, watching and waiting for me to post certain things, so they can basically just buy or sell. I know that sounds like a very arrogant thing to say, but trust me, I get DMs from people that say, you said, and then they show me evidence of the things that I said, and then I have to explain and go through all of this kind of rhetoric and say, look, I'm not here to give you guys financial advice. This is about education. This is about understanding what you're looking at on the charts and understanding that the analysis that you do on a chart is pretty much all that you'll need to get where price is going next. So this is the current, this is the picture that I posted. And obviously this is current price, and you can see we've had a pretty decent run. Let's just go over to the actual chart itself, and you can see that we've had a pretty decent run into 25,500, also another level that I was making a reference to. So going forward, what does all of this mean? How do we use this information, to kind of see what could potentially be unfolding next? Because remember, we're confirmational based, traders. We're trying to see once something happens, what does that mean? What's next, and so on. So obviously, running into number 4, which we're not quite there yet, there's still a little bit to go. I do feel, based on the weekly charts imbalance, if we do this, we can see, and we'll do the daily, actually, you can see it a bit better. You can see that there's a, kind of a ramp up here and then an explosive move down, and then slowly starts to kind of slow down before it goes into this liquidity pool. So there are some holes that may need to be plugged on the way back up in terms of imbalances, kind of rebalancing price a little bit. There's one in particular comes in at 24,404. Very specific, but that's just how it is. So 24,404, price may want to be driving into that level. It's not too far away. We're currently sitting around about 21,561. So if we do get a run to the upside, that's roughly where I would expect price to go. There may be, if we just drop down to the hourly once again, a little bit of acceleration. So this pullback now is key. Right, and I'm not going to start marking loads of stuff on the charts, but basically somewhere around about sort of 20,000 and above. So if price does start to leak into 20k, we want 20,000 to hold, a little bit of response from there, a nice reversal, and then we get that secondary run to the upside, to drive towards 24.5, which is above these levels here, or should I say 20. Let's have a look here, 23k, and then around about sort of 24,404. So pay attention to these levels. This is what I'm going to be expecting going forward. Now, obviously, and I'm going to say this again, at any moment in time, based on a lot of things that are happening, across the board, macroeconomically, a lot of problems with a lot of companies now that are going bust, that are, canceling withdrawals and so on. There's a lot of stuff going on. The markets could, of course, just pretty much tank at any moment. But for me, I like to look at these subtle clues. If price rebalances in one way, then there's an opportunity for it to drop more aggressively, and if there are, things above price that price may need to drive into to pick up, or deal off or rebalance or whatever the case may be, then it will do that first before it drops. Now, if it just drops, then that tells us a lot, because then when it finally does drop, if it does, and starts to drive towards, those lower levels, 14k, all the way up to around about sort of say 16k, somewhere between there, then the fact that it didn't do a run up first to plug some holes, to rebalance, to pick up, to deal off, and so on, tells us that that drop into these lower levels will be much more reactive. Okay, and we'll get a much more positive response, down there. The best way for me to leave this video is like this: if price fulfills everything that it needs to do above, okay, then there's no reason to stop it continuing going lower if it wants to keep going and keep going and keep going. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. Hope everyone's having an absolutely fantastic day or evening, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next update. All the best. Take care.